Hey everybody, I'm here today with Mary Wood from the Whole Package Organizing. I met Mary a few years ago when I was looking to find somebody that could come into my home and help me get things a little bit decluttered and organized. Looking in my closets and junk drawers and things like that, I really wanted to find a method to the madness, and doing it myself was just a little bit overwhelming, in addition to the fact that I don't have a lot of time. So I hired Mary to come into my home, and I thought, since we're all stuck in our houses right now, it would be really helpful to have Mary come on and talk to you all about some different ways that you can get your home organized, and just give you some tips on what to do and how to maximize your time as you're hanging out at home. So Mary, tell everybody a little bit about you, who you are, and we'd love to hear your tips.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Mary. I'm one of the co-owners of the Whole Package Organizing, and we have a team of about 14 ladies. We love to organize. We love to help you pack, unpack, declutter, just in any of the areas of your home. And so as everyone's been home lately, people are kind of getting stir crazy and wondering, what can I do while I am home? And so I have a few ideas for you.
Awesome. Great. Well, let's hear it. Jump right in. Start with
Okay.
number one.
Okay. So we have a method that we follow whenever we're doing an organizing project. And so I want to share that with you guys so that you can apply this to any of the projects that you're doing at your house. And I just want to say, first of all, you don't have to do everything on your to-do list. Don't feel pressure to do that. But if you are, bored, or you want to work on a project, then these steps kind of help keep you focused. Whether your project is small, whether you're working on a junk drawer, or if it's medium size and you're doing like your closet or a bedroom, or even if it's a really large job where you're clearing out your entire garage or basement. So it's called the SMART method, and we have a little card here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just an acronym of the letters for SMART. And so the steps are, the first step for any project, no matter what size, is to sort. So you want to bring the things together that you're working on. Like if you were doing a junk drawer, you would sort them into similar categories. So you'd put all the pencils together and all the rubber bands together. And the reason you do this is so that you can see exactly what you have of each category. And that's going to be important when you go to the next step, which is M, minimize to favorites. Now that you see, oh my word, I have this many plastic bottles I didn't realize, and you can minimize to your favorites. You can say, I don't need this many, or wow, I have 5 staplers, I only need one. So that second step is where you've heard of the KonMari method. That's where you figure out what sparks joy for you, or whatever you're ready to declutter. So you would let go of those things in that step. And then the third step, which is A, is to accept the limitations of your space. And we find that this is one of the hardest ones to grasp, but it's really important. So there's a book called Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and we really like the idea that the author shared to talk about how your home is the container for your life. It's the container for your stuff, right? So your closet should be the container for your clothes and your shoes. You should not have things spilling out into other areas of the home. Your pantry is the container for your food. If you've got a bookcase, that's the container for your bookcases. So you want to say, okay, I'm going to stay within the confines of this area for these items, and then try not to have little extra piles creep out, everywhere else, because that's where the clutter comes from that drives everybody crazy. So accept the limitations of your space. Okay, then the fourth step, and not the first step, the fourth step is when you finally get to figure out what containers you're going to bring in and use. And if you want to be frugal, you can repurpose things that you found as you've done your sorting process. But if you want to buy new containers, this is the time to do it. Not in the beginning, because in the beginning you don't know exactly what the space is that you're going to be, how many items you're going to be left with. So, you can order things online. A pro tip would be to make sure you take measurements of the space before you go to do your shopping, so that if you have this many shelves that are this dimension, then you can figure out exactly how many containers can fit.
So and you're saying don't buy the big, huge containers so that you keep them really full.
Right, exactly. And then you can't find anything in them anyway. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the last step is T, 10 minutes a day to keep it up. So we're trying to
Mm.
put, as professional organizers, we're trying to put a little bit of responsibility back in, or as you're working on a project in your home, you don't want it to look great the first week, and then as time goes by and it's a high traffic area, it just gets trashed again. So if you can spend a little bit of time each day keeping up, tidying, making sure that as new things come in, you're still decluttering, then overall your house stays, less cluttered and stays organized. So those are the 5 steps of the SMART process. And like I said, you can apply that to any organizing project that you're working on.
Yeah, I think one of the hard things, and I even know for me, is I get really overwhelmed. My brain doesn't work really well when I have a lot of clutter around me, especially in my office in particular,
Yeah.
with papers and things like that. But then I'm busy, and so I look around my space and I say, well, where do I begin? And so then I don't begin. So
It's
how
too
do
overwhelming, right?
it's overwhelming. Yeah. Do you have any tips for people on that of just, how to like mentally even say it's okay for me to just take one thing at a time, even if it's just one drawer at a time?
Yes. So you want to break it down into the smaller, bite-sized things. But I think one thing too, if you're starting with a room and you're feeling overwhelmed, it really helps me to say, I'm going to start in this corner of the room, and I'm going to work my way around so that you're not bouncing all over the place and getting distracted. You're just methodically working, like a clock, around the room. Another thing that helps is if a room is really messy or there's tons of laundry everywhere, whatever, then just pick one category and say, all right, I have a trash bag in my hand. I'm going to pick up all of the trash and just throw all of that away. And then, wow, it looks a little better already. And then I'm going to pick up all of the laundry and take care of the clothes, and then you're chipping away at it in a way that's easier for your brain. But that's also why the sort is so important, to put similar categories together. Because if I take a huge bin of mementos or a box of random stuff, it's really hard on your brain to make a decision about all of these different items. So if you're just telling your brain, all I'm doing right now is sorting, then you're taking away some of that stress. And so you're just putting the similar things together, and then you're giving your brain a break, and then you're going to, okay, I'm looking at this pile, and how many of these things do I want to keep in this category? So it helps compartmentalize things to take the stress out of that process.
Yeah. And you mentioned one thing that I think is a really powerful exercise, if you can explain it a little bit more. As I'm obviously in real estate, so I go into people's houses first and tell them what to do and what to declutter. And typically people have a lot of stuff, a lot. But people don't want to part with their things, especially you even said mementos. Whereas a lot of times, I'll go into people's homes, and this is kind of terrible, but even on estate sales where they're selling their parents' home that they've saved, all these things from their children's lives, all their lives, and then their kids go in and they throw all of it away, because they're like, this has no use for us. But how do you help people detach from objects? Where you had mentioned, does this bring me joy or does this spark joy? Explain that a little bit. And I know there's a book about that, so maybe you can talk on that just a little bit. So I feel like for me, that's a good exercise, especially I hate throwing away clothes, because I'm like, what if I want to wear this again in 5 years? I'm right. I probably won't fit into it, but I have to do that. Am I really going to? Does this make me happy when I look at it? So maybe explain that a little.
Yes, I think that is probably the hardest part of our job, is that, we never make a decision for you. It's always your decision of what to let go of. And some people are really good and really fast at making decisions and letting go of a lot. And other people, we might work with them for 4 hours and they let go of 2 things, but it's their decision. So I think that one thing that we can do to help that process is to listen as you talk about whatever the item, especially if it's something that holds a strong memory for you. Mm-hmm. It helps to talk about that item and tell someone the story. You can take a picture of an item and then let it go. If you have a picture of it, then you've kind of captured that memory, but you don't have to physically hold on to the item. I think that sometimes it's helpful to go take a pass at something more than once. So for example, I have a cedar chest of my favorite things from my life, and I'll go through it every year or so. And it's each year I'm finally able to part with something else that's been in there to make room for more things to come in. But I'm like, you know what? I've been holding on to this for this many years. but I think I'm finally ready to let this go. So sometimes like be forgiving to yourself that it's not always just a one-time process, but that you might get better as you go and be able to let things go. But I think it's really important what you mentioned, that sometimes our kids aren't going to want the things that we're holding on to forever. And I think it's important to think about, like, if I'm paying this much money for a storage unit every month for these
Yeah.
things that aren't even worth the cost of the storage unit for the year, then, do a mathematical equation. It just doesn't add up. So find someone who can use it. There's always someone who can use the items. And that's what brings a lot of my clients joy, is when they get excited about, oh, these art supplies I'm going to donate to Clever Octopus, and they're going to use them for their art programs for kids after school, or, so yeah, I think passing it on to someone who can use it can help as well.
That's a super good point. I think I know I like clothes, I mentioned before, and I know a lot of women who do, and they have a hard time parting with clothes, but knowing if you can find even a shelter where, women have been abused and they're, starting to restart their life, and donating the clothes to them where they have no clothes to go out into the workforce, just different things like that. So I think being creative with how you donate your items, and just knowing that somebody is going to put to good use what is shoved in a box in your closet that you want, you have an attachment to it, but you have no use for it. I think that's a really good point. So
you're helping humanity, you're helping other people, and your items want to be used and appreciated. And so if they're just sitting in a box getting dusty, then it would be better for them to be used by someone else.
I agree. So what else do you do? Because I know you don't just go in as a professional organizer and organize. Talk a little bit about how you can help people move, how you can help them move from one house to another, or even one state to another, or help people who maybe aren't in the state of Utah who need to make a move. You were, prior to getting on this, you were telling me about some clients that don't live here, and you went and packed up their whole house and got them on their way, and they didn't even have to come back, which saved them a lot of money. So maybe speak to that just a little bit.
Yes, so I have done a little bit of travel organizing in the last year, where people in different states have needed help, and so I've flown to where they live to help them. And in some cases, they're coming to Utah, and then I can unpack them when they're here. But I would say that a lot of our work is helping people, because moving is such a huge, overwhelming process.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our work is helping people either on the packing for move, or the unpacking, or both. So our team can come in and help you from the very first stages, like getting ready to stage your home for pictures, getting ready to stage your home for people to come and see it, decluttering those areas that just have, piles of stuff everywhere that not everybody wants to look at, and giving you kind of a professional opinion of, like, how can this room look less cluttered? Which things should I pack up right now? And so we can help you with that. And then we can help with packing as well. We've done plenty of packing jobs. And I would say the difference between using us and a moving company is that we take a little more time with you to figure out and help you with the decluttering process as we're packing, so that we're not just blindly packing everything, but we're helping you figure out, like, are there some things that I can let go of, on this side of it. And then we love to unpack, because it's really fun for us to be able to use our organizing techniques to set up systems in your home from the get-go. As soon as you move in, you have like a laundry system, or you have an inbox system in your, for paper, for incoming paper, or we can set up your closet really nice, whatever. So yeah, we love to help with all of the different stages.
Well, I was just thinking, as you're talking about that, Mother's Day is coming up. So it would be a great gift for a husband to give to their wife to bring you into the home and do a little decluttering, because moms are so busy, and a lot of moms are working too. So I think it's a great gift for people, and even a gift to give to yourself. So I love everything you shared. I think all those are such great tips. And tell everybody how to find you, if they can find you on social, where your website is, and whatnot.
Yes. Okay. So our website is www.thewholepackageorganizing.com. And we actually have, if you were interested in the SMART technique, we have that downloadable on our website, so you can find that there. You can also see pictures, before and after pictures of our work. And then we're also on Facebook and Instagram under our name, The Whole Package Organizing.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I will put a link to to her website and her social media feeds also in this. And Mary, I so appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your busy day. I know you're busy, so we appreciate you and appreciate you sharing all of your tips.
Absolutely, Heather. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.